Hi, it's KCCK's Culture Crawl. I'm Dennis Green, and my guests today are from the upcoming production at Kirkwood Community College of the musical Into the Woods, but not cast this time, doing something a little bit different. I'm excited to talk with Bre Kinney. Bre, welcome.
Hi, thank you.
And Marianna Coffey.
Hi.
Nice to see you both here. Marianna, I think of you as I don't know what your exact title is, I just think of you as the Ballantyne boss. Because if it happens in Ballantyne, it's you.
That is pretty much it.
So we get to work together on jazz band camp during the summer, and of course that also means that you're intimately involved in the student productions. You have done a lot of scenic design and directing and stage managing and things like that up and down the corridor too.
Yes.
So, and Bre, you are kind of new to the Kirkwood family because you have just taken over as kind of running the costume shop.
Yes. So this is my first year at Kirkwood, but I actually came here as a student when I was in high school. I did some classes.
Oh, sure.
So I was familiar with the theater program 7 years ago, and now we're back as a faculty member, so it's super fun.
Oh, feeling a little old there?
You know, only a little bit, but my students are almost the same age as me, so it's hard to feel too old when we're together.
Newsflash, it doesn't get better. So the musical is Into the Woods. Like I said, we're going to talk a little bit more about the kind of the behind the scenes and the multidisciplinary aspects of putting on a show. But before we do that, are either of you willing to kind of share the back of the program summary of what the musical's all about? I mean, I know neither of you perform on stage, but it's Sondheim. I guess that's the big story. It's Sondheim. Mm-hmm. So music is really good and really hard.
Yeah, there's it's been kind of interesting to make like the plot for this show because there's not like one main character or protagonist. It's kind of based on several stories that are just woven together by going in the woods together. So it sort of centers on, I suppose, the baker and his wife, who are two characters that are cursed, and so they're unable to have a baby. And so they kind of go into the woods to try and break the curse that the witches put on them. And as they go in there, they have to find certain elements, and so they meet different fairy tale creatures and characters that we've met before.
They meet some familiar characters.
Yes,
we have some princes that we have bumped into in other stories.
Princesses, Little Red and the Wolf, people that we know, but some exciting new people too, which is fun.
Yeah, it's more based solely on the Grimm fairy tales, like going into the darker original Grimm fairy tales. So it's not really quite a children's show. Mm-hmm. There is some spooky elements that will be coming in.
Yeah.
Appropriate for the Halloween season. I mean, it opens right after Halloween, but still kind of in the spooky season.
But we've got some blood. There's some death. There's some exciting puppetry.
Twists. Puppetry, yes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, puppetry.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
Mm-hmm. We've got a few characters that are puppets. One, like the giant is a character, so we've got some voice acting from the character or the act playing the giant, but then there's some puppetry aspects on stage and possibly even off stage.
Yeah.
And then there's Milky White the cow, pretty much the most famous puppet, I think, from Into the Woods, famous for sometimes being really awful. So that's been really exciting for us to kind of do a scary character that like could go very wrong very fast.
So a lot going on for a musical, which sometimes are, you're focused more on choreography than a lot of things on the stage and the scenic design wise. But you have also been involving a lot of other departments at Kirkwood in this as well. Tell me a little bit about that.
We're working with Christina Flavin's digital photography class. They are taking headshots, professional studio headshots for our students so we can create a lobby display. And that way we'll have like all students involved, actors, our tech kids, and any of our pit orchestra students that want to be in the lobby display. Because a lot of people don't see the tech students. They'll recognize the actors on stage and in public all the time, but it's like, I would like to get your face out there. So they kind of see a face behind the mystery and the drama of putting on the show. Mm-hmm. So somebody has to make the magic.
That's true.
So the technical staff, students, now, most of them, by the time they get to college, if that's their thing, they've done a lot of shows. But Marianna, talk to us a little bit about kind of pulling together, because it's, we're first thing out for the fall season. A lot of the students, I'm sure, are new. Some are returning. So you really got to pull them together into a pretty cohesive team.
Yes, we are actually starting that process now because they don't have to start from the very beginning like the actors do, but they're going to be starting showing up and being at rehearsals this week, next week, so we can go into tech right before the show. There are a lot of students that just did it in high school and want to still like be involved, and they've just shown up and helped. I have open shop hours on Mondays and Wednesdays, and they wander into my shop and I will put a paintbrush in somebody's hand and we like paint that. So they've been very good. I have an amazing props people that have just come in and helped me design the Milky White puppet and get that all situated. And they're also just like, we also have scholarship students that are like required a part of their scholarship to help work and build. So most of those are actors actually. And not a lot of tech students know about the scholarship. But they do come in for, 24 hours a semester? Mm-hmm. So over the 12 weeks. So it's a lot of student work goes into this. I am a one-man show sometimes, but it's like I have to have all of my students. I also will pick up students that hang out in the hallway, kind of like my choir kids sometimes get shanghaied into coming in and doing, moving things around.
Carrying heavy stuff.
Yeah. Helping me with the platforms, moving the platforms around. So they're always willing and able.
Bre, I assume you get students involved in helping with costumes as well?
Yeah, so I actually am like the co-teacher of the tech lab class that has our scholarship students. So they're with me for 2 hours a week and with Marianna for 2 hours a week, or they can choose after their first semester if they want to be all 4 with one of us. So we've got 9 students currently in that class that work with us and split their time. But like Marianna said, a lot of them are actors. So it's been really fun on the costume side that they get to kind of learn and build their own pieces for their costume. So they have a little bit of a unit where they like learn the basics of sewing. But like this week, Lacey McHenry, who plays the baker's wife, was super excited because she got to sew the hooks onto her skirt. And I was like, well, now it fits. I have to sew a hook. Do you want to do it? And she's like, I can sew my own costume. And I was like, yeah, that's why we're learning how to do this. Like, she's so excited that she got to add stuff to what she gets to wear in the show. So it's fun that we don't have just tech kids or just kids that are like solely focused on tech. They get to kind of dabble, especially those scholarship kids because they have to be in the hours. But so far they've all been really enjoying getting to work on the show that they're working on. It's a fun little additional aspect to it.
My son was a theater major at St. Mary's University, where I know you went.
Same. Mm-hmm.
But in one of his rotations, he was sewing costumes. And I think that was one of his favorite classes.
And it's such a, I always say that it's like a mindless activity, which sounds silly because obviously you do have to think about it while you're sewing. But once you've been doing it for a little while, especially if you're hand sewing, it's really easy to just sew while you're chatting. And so we have a really casual atmosphere in the costume shop, and I have students who come in just to hang out and are like, oh, I can sew a snap or two while I'm waiting, and they'll just sit and we gab, we talk about the show, we talk about shows that they want to do. Since I'm, like I said, not much older than the students, and I was a theater major and I perform in the area, they're always excited about asking about auditions and things like that. So it's been fun to kind of get the community involvement also, in that it's not just Kirkwood. You can do things outside of this too. And now that you're kind of building that resume and those skills here, they're world transferable. And so it's been exciting to watch some of them take those skills out of the building also.
Well, we are a theater-rich environment, so there is plenty of opportunity for somebody if they want to do something either on stage or backstage.
Exactly.
Anything unique that's been particularly fun about doing costumes for this show?
This one is exciting because, you think about the Grimm fairy tales and you obviously see very typical medieval Renaissance-y silhouettes, lots of long things. And we're kind of putting a twist on that. So I've been describing it as Fashion Week meets a Ren Fair. So it's like modern and Vogue, but also very typical. So everybody's costume has at least one element that feels a little wrong. You look at it and you're like, oh, why does it look like that? Which I think has been fun. And Emma our director, really wanted to play with some high fashion elements. And so our princes are a little bit androgynous. They've got some more modern influences to their silhouettes that aren't necessarily the typical prince. But the boys in the show aren't really typical princes either as their characters. So it's been fun to choose and highlight certain elements of the way that our actors are playing these characters and make them physicalize that in their costumes as well. So we've got some fun fabrics, some funky silhouettes. It's exciting.
The show is Into the Woods and running 2 weekends,
Yes.
which is the first time I can remember Kirkwood doing 2 weekends for a show.
Yes, because it was like in the rest of the semester, we were able to get it perfect this year because of the calendar, that Jazz Week doesn't start until a week after. So like normally like the musical is the first thing for the music and theater department, and then like every weekend following is like back to back.
Right, because the instrumental
Productions.
jazz will have their November
Yes.
concert, and then there'll be choir concerts right
Vocal
after
jazz,
that.
choir
Vocal
concert,
jazz, yeah.
we'll have band and then orchestra. So it's like, it's until exams, and it's like, it starts it, and I am here for it all. But yeah, so.
So again, it's it's November, 1 through 3 and 7 through 9?
Yes.
Is that
Yes.
it? So the 2 weekends, the first 2 weekends in November. And I believe people can get tickets at the Ballantyne portion of the Kirkwood website, which
Yes.
is just Kirkwood.edu/Ballantyne,
Correct.
is it not?
Yes.
All right.
We're also having a ASL performance. So we are having a performance that is going to be signed, so that any hearing
Hearing impaired.
hearing impaired, there it is, people would like to come. So like they are also, the ones we have that are coming are trained for theater specific.
You've probably seen them around, Molly McCormick and Kelly Panache. They do most of the shows in the area, and they were super excited that we were doing Into the Woods because Sondheim is a particular challenge for signing because it is so quick and there's so many characters. But
So
they're
many words,
excited.
many words in
Yes,
those songs.
they're excited to join us. I think the first Saturday.
I think so, yes.
And it's listed on the website when you go in for ticketing also. So if you want to get certain seats, that way you can see them, it's listed on the website when you go to buy tickets.
Well, we mainly talked about the behind-the-scenes aspects to this. However, I also know that the actors on stage just sing the freaking lights out for this.
They are singing their face off the
I was at
entire time.
auditions and callbacks since it was my first time at Kirkwood. I was like, is it okay if I sit and watch? And I was blown away. And obviously recent grad from a theater program, and I've done lots of stuff around the area, but I was so impressed by the amount of talent that we have here at Kirkwood, especially for a program that isn't humongous. But I mean, our students showed up and showed out, and I'm really excited to see
We punch above our weight around here.
how it all gets put together with all of them. We've got 22 cast members,
Yes.
and they're all packing a punch, that's for sure.
Into the Woods, Ballantyne Auditorium on the Kirkwood campus, November 1st through the 3rd and 7th through the 9th, the usual evening performances and then Sunday matinees as well. You can find the full schedule and get tickets at Kirkwood.edu/Ballantyne. Bre, Marianna, thanks so much for being with me today.
Thanks for
Thank
having
you.
us.
You can hear the Culture Crawl live on the radio most weekdays at 10:30, on demand at kcck.org/culture, or subscribe using your favorite podcast player. Watch our videos on the KCCK Facebook and YouTube channels. Our producer is Lydia Kilgore. The Culture Crawl theme is composed by Vivian Shanley. I'm Dennis Green, and I'll talk to you later.